New Zealand moved to pole position in the ICC World Cup standings after beating Bangladesh by 2 wickets in London, while India opened their account with a comfortable 6-wicket win over struggling South Africa in Southampton. Ricardo Chambers was in England and filed this report. No, he wasn't in England, but he still filed this report.
The Virat Kohli-led India, the last team to make an appearance at the 2019 World Cup. Jasprit Bumrah providing the perfect start, removing key batsmen Ashim Amla and Quinton de Kock. The Otis Gibson caught South Africa on the back foot early, and it didn't get much better. None of their batsmen reached a 50 as leg spinner Yuzvendra Chahal banged at 4 for 21 to limit them to 227 for 9. India then cruised to the target with 15 deliveries to spare, despite losing star batsman Virat Kohli for just 18. But the chase was well marshalled by Rohit Sharma, who notched his 23rd one-day international century to leapfrog Sourav Ganguly into third on India's all-time list. A drop chance by David Miller when Sharma was on 107, summing up another ordinary performance by South Africa. But in any case, the damage had by then been done. India easing to 230 for 4 to start with a win. South Africa losing 3 consecutive matches for the first time in World Cup history.
I said in the post-match, I think it was a very professional effort from us. It was a low-scoring game, not the highest of totals you'll see in one-day cricket nowadays, but that was because of the way the pitch was throughout the course of the game. And I think from that point of view, we were very professional with the new ball in the middle overs, spinners picking up 5 wickets between them. Jasprit was outstanding, Bhuvi finished well. So I think overall we're pretty happy with how we played.
Chris, it's probably a bit unfair to be asking you this kind of question, but can you just talk to us a bit generally about the mindset? I mean, going 3 down now, obviously things are going to get pretty tough. Just what is the general feeling, and where do you think things are going wrong?
Well, if I had the answer, I'd be the head coach of the national side.
In the day's second match, New Zealand got the better of Bangladesh by 2 wickets. This was a highly competitive encounter which saw Bangladesh posting 244. Shakib Al Hasan, 64, posted his second successive half-century to top scorer for the Tigers. In reply, veteran Ross Taylor led New Zealand's push for victory. He made 82, but the Black Caps lost 8 wickets, which made for a nervous finish. But they managed victory with 17 deliveries to spare, reaching 248 for 8. New Zealand go top of the table with 4 points ahead of West Indies, who play third place to Australia in a highly hyped encounter on Thursday. India enter at 5th spot with Bangladesh down to 6th after match day 7.
So I came close with my prediction, but not quite close enough. I thought Bangladesh would have beaten New Zealand, and at the end it got real tight, but the Kiwis came home.
I am still laughing at Chris Morris's comment. I feel like George would say something like that. I mean, this team is very frustrated after losing 3 matches, 1 back-to-back, I have to say. I feel it's a confidence thing with them coming out of 3 losses. India was really good today. And if you're playing against a side like India, 227 is not enough. And then all these drop catches giving Rohit Sharma so much life. They had missed fielding one after the next. When the match started and India went into bat, there were many missed fielding at that point when Rohit could have been out. That 100 would have been nothing. So, yeah.
I think from a technical standpoint, the biggest problem South Africa is facing now is establishing partnerships at the top of the order. So today they were 24 for 2 before a rescue partnership between Faf du Plessis and Van der Dusen.
Yes.
And then after one of those 2 got out, they lost 2 wickets for 9 runs again. In the game against England, it was the same thing, 44 for 3, then another rescue partnership. Then they lost a lot of wickets towards the end. In the game against Bangladesh, they got it pretty much spot on, which was there were 50-odd partnerships, maybe from the first 3 partnerships, but the lower order never mustered up enough runs to give them a good total. So much has been said about their bowling, but I think from a batting standpoint, if your bowling is weak and your batting is weak, or you're failing to establish partnership at the top of the order, then coming to the World Cup and having results like these shouldn't be anything strange.
227 was not even putting any sort of competition today on India. Like, you can't make 227 against India and think that they're not going to come out and score. We saw Virat got out and then Rohit stepped up. And it had so many other players on that team that could have stepped up. Let's just say Rohit got out.
Well, let's not ignore the fact that Rohit Sharma's 122 is a special innings for the fact that he carried his bat, which children at home, the oldsters will know it, means that you bat without being dismissed, and of course you're the opener. That 122 of 144 balls, that was the 13th time in the history of one-day international cricket that a batsman was carrying his bat. And what makes it sweet, I was surprised when I checked that particular list earlier today to see that Rohit Sharma is the first Indian in ODI cricket to carry his bat. There's one West Indian on the list, one Ridley Jacobs, and you'd think that, well, if Ridley Jacobs carried his bat, then he must have made a ton. No, he made 49. Yeah, so he carried his bat for 49, Ridley Jacobs did. But guess what? He is, or was among the 12 before today who had carried their bat in ODI cricket, and Rohit Sharma joining them as the first Indian batsman and the 13th player in international cricket, ODI cricket, to do so. That's a tremendous achievement. Congratulations to him. And this Indian team, much was made. India is cricket mad, and much has been made in the Indian press about how long it has taken India to get into the tournament and whether or not they could have prevailed on the ICC to have changed the schedule so that they would have played their first game a long time ago, all sorts of things. But I'm sure they're happy now given the comfortable way with which they swatted away South Africa. And I don't know which one of you said it, but losing 3 games on the spin to start your World Cup tournament, it is already desperation time for the South Africans. I don't know if you can lose. Well, you can't lose 5 games and make the top 4 for sure. So they are up against it now.
And they're frustrated. You could tell they're frustrated. You know, anybody who's losing so many games will.
Chris Morris's reaction in the post-game press conference sums it all up.
Yeah.
Correct.
If he had the answers, he would be the national coach.
Yeah. Although to be fair, he was asked 3 questions in one, and when you do that, you anger the person you're asking the question of.
Especially if they lost.
And he was quite chippy, so yeah.
Well, the West Indies are back in action on Thursday when they face defending champions Australia at Trent Bridge in match number 10. Australia captain Aaron Finch spoke to reporters ahead of the match.
They're a very dangerous side, and I think that whichever team comes out and executes it from the start of the game, I think it's important that you start really well in whether you bat or bowl first. And first 10 over periods are going to be really crucial because we know how damaging the West Indies can be during that period. But also, equally, I think if we get off to a good start, then we can start to try and get into our work a bit. I think if we're tentative and if we're a bit standoffish and wait for things to happen, that's when they can dominate you from the start. So it's important that you turn up with the right attitude and the right intent in them first 10 overs, bat or ball.
Well, West Indies captain Jason Holder said they were up for the challenge.
It's always been a great rivalry between West Indies and Australia. I think everybody's expecting a really good contest. You know, we're up for the challenge. I think they're up for the challenge as well. So, yeah, I wouldn't really, get too far or get too deep into rivalries, but we expect a really good contest from the Australians. We're just taking it game by game. Tomorrow's our encounter versus Australia. We've got a hurdle to overcome. I think when we overcome that hurdle, then we'll move deeper into the tournament, But I just don't want to single out teams particularly. I think all teams are evenly matched and well balanced, So it's just a matter of playing good cricket on any given day. That's our role. We want to execute in all 3 departments.
I'm excited for that match because that is the acid test, as we say. The first match was a walk in the park.
Well, it turned out to be that it could have been, look at Pakistan how they destroyed England. The fact of the matter is, by virtue of their prowess in T20 cricket, teams, I believe, are afraid of the West Indies in limited overs cricket. So T20 ODI, there's a fear there that you don't get in Test cricket. Usually, sportsmen are very good speaking in platitudes. What I mean by that? Well, let me give you an example. Not of platitudes themselves, but of people speaking in a particular way. The US president speaks in superlatives. So everything is either great, the best ever, or the worst ever, or idiot, or rubbish, so he speaks in superlatives, yeah? sportsmen speak in plaudits, and so when teams are going up against each other, you'll hear sportsmen say, well, you know, yeah, they're a good team, and you know they can hurt you and so forth. Especially in football, they say, well, you know, yeah, you know, looking forward to that game against so and so, and it's a tough place to go. I've never heard a player say any opposing venue is an easy place to go. I've never heard it. Everywhere is a tough place to go, and everywhere is going to be difficult. So they speak in platitudes. If you listen to what Aaron Finch is saying, and if you pay attention to the discourse between the teams, between both sets of players leading into this Windies Australia match, you can tell that the Aussies realize it will be a tough ask to beat the West Indies, and that they will have to be at their best, because the West Indies' potential in limited overs cricket, in ODI cricket, is immense, and they fear the power of the batsmen, they fear the pace of the bowlers, and so they know that they'll be in for a fight, and we certainly hope that their fear is justified by the Caribbean on Thursday.
I like how he said dangerous, because that's a good description.
Well, if you look at the venue, it'll be the same pitch that England played Pakistan on. And you look at the history, West Indies played 8 games there, have only lost once. And Australia have only won 3 times at the venue. So let's see how much history plays into this game tomorrow.
When you say, just in case people at home are wondering, when Andrew says the same pitch, it's going to be Trent Bridge. But the pitch that the Englishmen played on, they could very well play on the one right beside it. And there'll be different characteristics between this strip right here and whichever strip they choose to use. So it may not necessarily be the same strip, even though the venue is same. But I think the point is strong enough to carry, regardless of the fact that it may be a different strip that they actually play on. But this is a big match, early in the tournament. Massive, massive match. The winner, you feel, will be so buoyed by this victory that they could go on to do some serious things in the tournament.
Yeah, this is.
And the loser will have a psychological barrier to overcome.
So Ramara, call it. Who will win?
West Indies.
Andrew.
West Indies.
Australia.
Oh, God.